This week, we're going to be battling our favourite movies, TV shows, music and hobbies, and let's see what's the best of the best. So today, I'm going to be battling for my favourite film, which is 2011 Disney Channel original movie, Lemonade Mouth. Some amazing music, some phenomenal acting and an inspirational, motivational story about being yourself and defying the status quo. It's got some amazing celebrities who started their career in this movie. It's got Naomi Scott, who's Princess Jasmine and in the new Charlie's Angels film, and Hayley Kiyoko, the international pop star celebrity. So what more could you ask from a movie? Let's see what everyone else is going to be battling and who thinks they're going to be my favourite film.
The movie is Shark Tale, and it captures the mind of every single young child as it did my own. And let me just tell you, it is amazing. Will Smith is a great actor, and him in the movie, oh my god, he is amazing. And when I watched the movie, I used to eat a bowl of peas every day, because 5 a day. And if you can't eat a bowl of peas while watching a movie, is it really your favourite movie?
This week I'm battling it out for one of the best movies, which I think is the 2008 Disney Channel original movie, High School Musical 3. It is an amazing story between two high school lovers who will soon be separated when they move to different schools. The $252 million box office movie has an amazing soundtrack, received 3 MTV Awards and 2 Kids' Choice Awards. The movie brought out merchandise for their fans, including backpacks, board games and fancy dress. But of course, this movie would not be possible without having Zac Efron as the lead role. And this is why High School Musical 3 is the best movie.
Peanut Butter Falcon is the best film, much better than your Shark Tale, your High School Musical 3s and your Lemonade Mouths. What are they talking about? They're just a spawn of big evil corporations. We're talking about this true indie film right here. It follows Zach, who, by the way, is played by Zach Gottesgen, who was the first ever Oscar presenter with Down syndrome in 2020. First ever. Anyway, so his character lives in an assisted living home. It's made clear that this is wildly inappropriate for him, as he lives with old people who, you shouldn't be living with him, as he has a different set of needs. Anyway, he runs away from this care home to make his dream of becoming a wrestler come true with the help of the ragtag troubled fisherman, aka Shia LaBeouf. Already winning. Whilst they're tracked by a social worker, played by none other than Dakota Johnson. It's amazing. Okay, this film, I don't know guys, I could go on and on about how it's got a 96% Rotten Tomatoes score, aka the harshest critics out there, 96% audience score. It's won, I don't know, maybe like 21 awards, one of which being the Hollywood Newcomer Award, American Indie Competition, about 5 Audience Choice Awards. I could talk about how it was the 2019 highest grossing indie movie. But you know what? I'm not gonna. Oh wait, I just did. Oops, never mind. I'm gonna talk about how this film is so beautiful. It takes your heart from you without you even noticing until suddenly it's on a roller coaster. Oh no. Because what happens is it marries the surreal and the real so well. You have the real struggles of people with disabilities and people living in poverty clashed against the hope of what their lives could be. And I want to talk about how it doesn't fall into the trap that many films who centre a person with disability falls into. They either have the happy ending of being cured and being able to fit into our ableist world, or the sad ending of dying. This film has a happy ending, spoilers, but it isn't cured because guess what? Down syndrome isn't the obstacle, the story isn't the problem. The problem is the underfunding of these care homes. The problem is the men who are trying to kill. The problem is the awkwardness of the interpersonal relationships, and the solution is the interpersonal relationships. The solution is camaraderie. The solution is hope. The solution is bravery over fear. It's also got survival elements, because I know you like that. Anyway guys, point being, it's beautiful. It's good. I recommend it. And if you're not convinced, then you should just go watch it. I mean, that would be a win for everyone.
I'm going to talk about Friday Night Dinner. The premise is simple. It's a sitcom about a Jewish family who have 2 grown-up sons that come round for dinner every Friday night, and we just look at the antics they get into. And also they've got a creepy neighbour called Jim. And is it my favourite TV show of all time? No. So why am I putting such a heavy focus on it? And the answer, just like the answer to a lot of things in the current time that we're in the world, is lockdown. Now that we're in lockdown, we have way more time to watch TV. And I know loads of people, including me and my family, who have sat down and watched this show during lockdown. It's given people something to watch. Me and my family sat down on evenings for like 3 weeks in a row, and we just binge watched the entire show. And it's great. It's a really bingeable show. It's funny. It's unique. I really recommend it. The first 4 seasons are on Netflix, and I just know people who have watched it during lockdown, and I know that it sort of helped me at the start of lockdown. Having sort of something to look forward to every night is watching the show. It actually ended while we were in lockdown. The final season ended, like, actual live on TV. But so many people have watched it, and that's just great. It's given people something to watch during lockdown, including me, and that's why I'm defending it, because of lockdown.
My favourite TV show is Once Upon a Time, because it's full of suspense and there's so many episodes to just keep you going, especially through lockdown. And I just think that the acting in it is really good, and it just draws your attention really.
I think that the best music decade by far is the 2000s, and here's why.
A lot of the hits from the 2000s decade are still listened to today, whether that's when you're on your own, having a party, or blasting it through the house during quarantine. There were so many different genres also, which meant that everyone could find a song they liked. And let's be honest, we all love to sing along to Mr. Brightside.
I'd argue that the 80s is the best decade for music, because it has a staple, iconic, defining image to it that I haven't seen since. The 80s were bold and they were diverse. It was the beginning of goth and new romantic music, and the 80s are still very much present in today's music and culture, with dark themes, electronic instruments, and elaborate clothing. And think about it, The Cure headlined Glastonbury last year, so I think it's safe to say that they're still relevant. All in one decade, we had Duran Duran, The Cure, Gary Newman, U2, Rush, even some Queen, we had Michael Jackson, Spandau Ballet, and the Human League. It doesn't get much better than that. And to this day, modern musicians are still inspired by them. In conclusion, I think it's fair to say that the 80s are the best decade for music. 100%.
Playing guitar helps de-stress you. Even though I'm absolutely terrible at it, it's still fun to just mess around with. Whatever instrument, it will take away all your worries. Just get your mind off things and just play your instrument as badly as you can, or as goodly as you want. It depends what mood you're in, I guess. But it's a great hobby.
Learning a language is a hobby that opens up a whole world of new experiences, not to mention the proven benefits it can have improving memory and focus. It enriches your holiday experiences, practically doubles the amount of media you can consume. As Anglophones, we're privileged in expecting everyone else to learn English, but I don't think it should be like that. With advances in technology, learning a language is easier than ever, so do it.
My hobby is swimming, and I'm going to tell you why it's the best hobby, and I have several reasons as to why it's the best hobby, so I'm going to talk super fast to try and get through them super quickly. Now, swimming is a form of exercise, and when you exercise, a chemical is released into your brain called endorphins. Now, this sounds really complicated and scientific, but I promise you it's really not. All these endorphins do is boost your mood and energy levels, so you leave exercising feeling super happy. Now, this can also reduce the risk of stress, which is brilliant for me because I experience stress weekly, maybe sometimes even daily. So anything I can do to reduce my stress levels is brilliant. Now, another benefit of exercise is the fact that it reduces the risk of certain diseases such as type 2 diabetes. And Dr. Nick Cavil once said, if exercise were a pill, it would be one of the most cost-effective drugs ever invented. Now I know what you're thinking. No, I have not been training during lockdown because I do not have access to a pool because all the pools are closed, and I unfortunately don't have one in my back garden as much as I may like one. But I have been doing online Zoom classes with my swimming coach, and yes, we basically have been swimming on land, which sounds really silly, and I can guarantee you we look incredibly silly, but I still get the same amount of levels of endorphins, so it doesn't really matter to me either way. Now, learning a language is very beneficial, and yes, studies have shown that learning a language can reduce the risk of dementia when you're older, but studies have also shown that doing exercise reduces the risk of dementia when you're older. So learning a language and swimming both reduce the risk of getting dementia when you're older. Swimming gives me endorphins, learning a language doesn't, so I would much rather do swimming. Now yes, running gives me endorphins because it's a form of exercise and can also reduce the risk of dementia. However, everybody can run and not everybody can swim. So that means that when you run, you don't get that same sense of accomplishment that you do when you swim, because you know that not everybody can do what you do. Also, learning to swim and being scared of the water are in direct proportion usually. So that basically means if you're scared of the water, it's most likely because you don't know how to swim, which means that when you go to the beach you won't go in the sea, and the best part about going into the beach is going into the sea and playing on the sand. So you couldn't do that if you didn't know how to swim because you'd be scared of the water. So in conclusion, swimming is the best hobby because it gives you endorphins, which reduces the risk of stress. It's a form of exercise, which means it reduces the risk of certain diseases such as type 2 diabetes. It also reduces the risk of dementia, and it means that you can go in the sea when you go to the beach.
So guys, while I respect your opinions, there's just a little problem. You're wrong. You see, running is the greatest hobby there is. Now, before you have the hissy fit saying that, oh, I'm being so mean about offending your opinions, well, bear this in mind. Running is amazing. You get to go out there in the great outdoors, go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. You can practice and practice and practice to run for an hour to your heart's content at a constant speed. You can get better and better and better and better at it. So, you know, you're wrong.